In this video, you're going to write an ebook using ChatGPT without getting cut off. You've probably tried it before, you get cut off, or maybe you tell ChatGPT to write it and it's too short and you have to keep on doing all this follow-up stuff. We're going to do away with that. I'm going to show you a new prompt that you can do, and you can use a series of plugins that I'm also going to show you how to set up, and you're never going to have to worry about the problem again of writing any kind of ebook. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in, and we're going to use a quick example here. So I'm using GPT-4, and all I'm simply doing is setting it for the plugin. Right, so under the 4, you go down to plugins and make sure that you clicked on that. So now that we're using the one with the plugins, we're going to choose the plugins we want. And we're going to grab 2 plugins in particular. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom here to Plugin Store. And I'm going to look for 2 plugins. The first one is called AI Agent. So I'm going to click and install that. Now I already have it installed, so you'll click on it, install it, and then it turns gray like this. Okay, and then the second one is called the web requests. Actually, let's do web pilot. Okay, there's a couple ones that scan the web, so this one is called web pilot, so we're going to install that. Okay, and then once that's done, you're going to notice your plugins are going to be here. So when you click on the little drop down, you'll get a plugin, and then we're going to enable it. So we're going to enable the AI agent, and this is kind of like an automation agent where it kind of goes through and breaks everything down into tasks, which is perfect for ebooks because we have to research it, we have to write the chapters, we have to outline it, we have to proofread it, we have to do a bunch of stuff. Does that automatically for us. Okay, and then we're going to grab the other one, which is the web requests. Let's just see here and activate that. So make sure it's in blue, the check mark in blue. So this is in blue, and then this is in blue as well. Okay, so now we are going to type the prompt. In this case, we're going to say master AI agent objective, create a 5-chapter ebook titled The Best Small Business Tax Strategies. Okay, and this is where you can literally enter in anything you want. If you want to write bookkeeping tips for small businesses, tax write-offs, anything you want, you can just literally type it in here, but you want to start it with the master AI agent objective. In this case, I don't want to make it too long, so I'm just going to kind of say, hey, write a 5-chapter ebook. And most of the time it listens, so let's go ahead and click on enter and see what happens here. So what's going on in the background, the first thing it's going to do is going to call up the AI agent, which is the plugin. And by the way, this is all running automatically. I'm not doing anything fancy. This is all through ChatGPT. Okay, so the AI agent is going to break everything down into the key task. Okay, and then once it has the task, it's going to use the web agent. It's going to use the other plugin to actually scour the web to find the information that we're going to populate our ebook with. Okay, so what it says here is that here are the step-by-step instructions for creating a 5-chapter ebook called The Best Small Business Tax Strategies. Step 1, research and outline. Okay, so begin by researching various small business tax strategies. Look for reliable sources such as government websites, tax experts, and reputable business publications. Create an outline for ebook, dividing it into 5 chapters. Each chapter should cover a specific aspect of small business tax strategies. Okay, great. Step 2, chapter 1. So this is chapter 1, Introduction to Small Business Taxes. In this chapter, provide an overview of small business taxes, their importance and how they impact business. Explain the basic concepts of tax planning and compliance with small businesses. Include any relevant statistics or data to support your points. Okay, so step 3 is going to do chapter 2. Deductible business expenses. All right, so this chapter focuses on the different types of deductible business expenses that small businesses can take advantage. Provide examples of some common deductible examples such as office rent, equipment, supplies, employee salaries. Explain how to track and document these expenses for tax purposes. Okay, so step 4 is going to write chapter 3, which is tax credits and incentives. So basically, credits and incentives. Explain eligibility criteria and how businesses can claim these credits. Step 5 is going to write chapter 4, structuring your business for tax efficiency. So it talks about things like sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC. It'll throw in S corps, all kinds of like entity structures and things like that. Pros and cons of each structure. Okay, guidance on choosing the right structure or small businesses. So this is amazing, right? Because think about how you did it before. You would literally have to go ahead and think about exactly how you're going to plan out this entire project. You're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to put the outline together. You're going to have to go and do the follow-up research, cram the information in. You're going to edit it. You're going to have to proofread it. There's a lot of things you're going to have to do here that it does for you automatically. Think about who does that. Is that you, the business owner? I hope not, because that's hours you're spending, right? Where, hopefully you have a freelancer or some other assistant like doing this basic work for you. Some of you are using your time to do this, but anyway, this is how it's going to be done automatically from now on. It's chapter 6. Step 6, chapter 5, tax planning and compliance strategies. Okay, so in this final chapter, focus on tax planning strategies that small businesses can implement to minimize tax liability legally. Discuss topics such as estimated tax payments, retirement contributions, year-end tax planning. Provide tips and advice on staying compliant with tax laws and regulations. Okay, and then step number 7, actually write the ebook. Okay, so based on the outline, start writing the content for each chapter. Ensure the content is well structured, easy to understand, engaging for the readers. Use clear and concise language. Avoid jargon as much as possible. Okay, we have that habit of writing all kinds of accounting jargon and tax jargon that a lot of business owners just don't understand. Okay, include relevant examples, case studies, and actual tips throughout the ebook. Step 8, proofread and edit. Okay, so it's going to actually go through, proofread it, grammatical, spelling errors, which is kind of weird because if it wrote it, hopefully it doesn't actually have any spelling or grammatical errors, so it's going to check anyway. Edit the content to provide clarity, coherence, and flow. Ensure that all the information is provided. It's up to date and accurate. Okay, and then design and formatting. Create an appealing design for the ebook cover and layout using appropriate software or tools. Okay, format consistently. Use headings, subheadings, bullet points, images where necessary. Make sure the ebook is visually appealing and easy to read. So now it's not going to actually go and do the images and design for you. If it did that, I mean, so many people would be out of work at this point. What it's going to do is going to give you advice on how you can do it yourself, right? So maybe you can use some third parties like grab images, lots of free sources out there for that. Okay, and then step 10, review and finalize. Review the entire book to ensure it meets the goal of providing the best small business tax strategies. Make any necessary revisions or additions to improve the overall quality. Once satisfied, finalize the ebook and save it as a suitable format such as PDF. Remember to communicate with me throughout the process, providing necessary resources. Ask me questions you may have. How awesome is that, right? Like, imagine this is like your personal assistant that's just like, hey, you give it a task, it's going to go to town. Okay, so that sounds good to me. So we're just going to say, hey, proceed. Okay, so now let's just see what it does. So the first thing it's going to do is going to use the web requests. And as it said earlier, the first part of it is researching a lot of this information. So it's going to look through some key sources. So I found some resources that can be used for our research. 12 small business tax saving strategies from SCORE, year-end tax planning strategies from Lending Trees, some other stuff from Lending Tree, tax credits, take advantage of tax deductions. So it's using a few of these things that it found here. Okay, so it's starting its research, and anytime it stops, you just literally type on continue. I'm not doing anything else except, typing continue. As it said here, if you want to provide some other insights or tell it not to do something, or maybe it's going down a rabbit hole too far one way, you can just, type in just to kind of like get it back on track. But usually you just type in continue or proceed, and it just basically goes from there. Okay, so here it's going through some key points from the 12 small business tax strategies that we use for our ebook. Okay, so now it's literally breaking down the actual strategies. Now the cool thing about this in your ebook, it's not going to do any plagiarism, right? It's going to literally scour these sources. It's going to assimilate all the information that's in there, and it's going to write it in a different source. And you can literally have it write it in a different tone and style if you want to. I'm just generically like letting it run. But the ebook it's going to produce, it's going to be basically ready to publish. Obviously, you're going to add your link and your logo and all that good stuff. But so you don't have to worry about it actually, getting information that is not yours. Okay. All right, so let's just kind of see quickly what it broke down to. It says hire family members. Okay, great. Account for business losses. Track your travel expenses. Consider all business expenses such as rent and utilities. Hire a reputable CPA. Okay. Deduct assets to charity. Track every receipt with software. Fully utilize your retirement plan contributions. Utilize startup deductions. Okay. That's a good one. Structure your small business as an LLC. Okay. And then deduct your vehicle. Okay, so these points can be used to enrich the content of our ebook. Shall we proceed with the next resource? Also, I'd like to mention, as a top user of the Web Request plugin, your feedback and support. Okay, so let's give me a little bit about feedback on the plugin. Yeah, let's just say continue. Okay, I am just literally typing continue. So far, so good. So let's just have it check out the next resource here. So again, it is calling up the Web Request plugin. By the way, you can click on this little drop down and kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. It's super geeky. I love to look at this stuff because I'm geeky, and you can see like all the data that is parsing in the background. There's other stuff you can do with this I talk about on my other videos, but I'm going to keep it super simple. So don't worry about this for now. Okay, so here are some key points from the next article, 5 tax planning strategies for small businesses. Consider tax status change, take advantage of tax deductions, leverage tax credits, defer or accelerate or income. Okay, set up and contribute to retirement account, home office deductions. Okay, so these points can be used to enrich the context. Shall we proceed with the next resource? Yes, let us continue, please. Okay, so it's going to the next resource. And remember, these are the resources that it told us it's going to grab, right? So remember in the beginning here, it said what it's going to do. So I have found some resources. So it's going through, I think it grabbed what, like about 5 resources here. So it's going to continue to parse these resources. And I'm just literally sitting back, sipping my coffee as it runs. So it is going through this document now. So it says, in this resource, it's found items like consider tax status change, take advantage of tax deductions, leverage tax credits, a home office deduction. Okay, let's just continue once again here. I think we have the basics of what we need for the ebook. So let's just see what it comes back here. And sometimes it goes down a rabbit hole. It wants to just find so much information. And in that case, we can just tell it, to actually, take what we have and skip to the next step. So let's just see what we have here. So it looks like it kind of got caught up on this one in particular. Let's just see here. Yeah, this looks like the same one. So what we can do is we can just kind of tell it to skip to the next step. Let's say skip to the next step. Okay. So we're going to tell it to skip to the next step here. Okay, so now it is using our AI agents again, and remember this is the agent that breaks everything down into the logical and chronological tasks that you need to do, that it actually needs to do to grab this information. So it is running, and again we can just kind of look at the drop down and we can see here what it's doing in the background. Okay, so based on the research and instructions, let's start writing the ebook. Okay, here is a draft of the first chapter, chapter 1, and it actually does it in a nice little markup format for you in a nice font. Okay, chapter 1, Introduction to Small Business Taxes. In the world of small businesses, tax planning plays a crucial role. It not only helps business comply with tax laws and regulations, but also provides opportunity to reduce their tax liability, therefore saving money. This chapter provides an overview of the importance of tax planning for a small business. You can actually kind of have it write like in a different tone as well, maybe to be more persuasive. If you're looking to kind of get them to like your ebook and get a free call you for consultation, you can kind of drop that in there as well. So scoring is writing chapter 1, importance of tax planning, the impact of taxes on small businesses. It gives a few examples as well. The role of tax strategies in small businesses. Okay, so this is the first one. Let's say, hey, if you like, let me know if you have any feedback or if you would like me to continue with the next chapter. I think we'll just continue for now. So let's see if it goes ahead and starts to do the next chapter. Okay, cool. So chapter 2, deductions and credits. one of the most effective ways for small businesses to reduce their tax liability is by taking advantage of credits, deductions and credits. This chapter will explore the difference between deductions and credits and provide a list of common ones that small businesses can utilize. Understanding deductions and credits. So tax deductions, tax credits, okay? And it gives like little examples of each, which is super cool, right? You always want to try to spell things out for folks. Common deductions for small businesses, all right? So business expenses, it has the home office deduction, it has the vehicle expenses, it has the depreciation. So common credits for small businesses, okay? So it talks about the work opportunity tax credit. It talks about the disabled access credit. One little tweak here, if you wanted to, so by default, ChatGPT cuts off the data at 2021. So what you can do is you can make sure that in the prompt, if you're looking for specifically for up-to-date tax information, you can say make sure this ebook is using data from 2023. It takes a little extra time because it does the research in the background. That's why I didn't add it in this example, but that's a way you can kind of get around the cutoff that ChatGPT does after 2021. So just a little tip there. Okay, so it wrote that. All right, that looks good. So I am literally clicking continue, typing that, and drinking my coffee as it goes. Okay, chapter 3, entity selection, okay? So this is where, and it told us exactly what it's going to do. So it's following up on that, right? It's telling exactly what it's writing, and it's writing it. So entity selection, where it talks about differences, the sole proprietorship, the partnership, the limited liability company, LLC, S corporation. So it breaks down the different entity structures. Now, if your clients are not familiar with this, I mean, most of your clients, particularly if you're working with small, medium-sized businesses, they're going to be familiar with like sole proprietorship or, you know, LLC, maybe S corps as well, maybe not so much partnerships, or, you know, particularly if you're in a real estate, and ways to kind of like juggle those different entities. So lots of cool stuff here. Okay, so it goes ahead and talks about choosing the right entity based on liability, taxation, future plans. Okay, it sounds good. You know what? I'm going to say, you know what? ChatGPT, this is cool, but I want this. I know this is an ebook, but can you make this chapter a little longer? Can you make this last chapter a bit longer? Okay, so let's see if it respects that request. So this last chapter was the chapter 3, entity selection. Okay, so let's just see. Absolutely, I can expand the last chapter. Here's a more detailed version. Cool. Okay, so let's just see if it kind of gets into a bit more information. So we can see if I scroll up here, let's just kind of take a quick little look at, give it maybe like 3 sentences about sole proprietorship here. Let's see what it does on this one. Okay, so sole proprietorship. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can see it's giving it a lot longer, a bit more information for sole proprietor, for partnership, limited liability, S corporation. So it's really digging into a lot more detail. And remember, you can do this for each chapter, right? You can make it longer. You can have it change its tone a little bit more as well. Again, this is just plain vanilla. I didn't give it any of my styling guidelines. I didn't tell it to do anything with tone or voice or style or anything like that. There's so many other ways that you can really enhance this. I'm just giving you like a really basic addition here. So choose the right entity for your business, liability, taxation, future plans, administrative requirements. Okay, so that looks good. Let's just say that looks good. So I'm just going to type, go ahead and continue. And now let's see what it comes back with for the next chapter. So retirement plans and tax advantages for chapter 4. Okay, cool. So understanding retirement plans, simplified employee pension, okay, SEP IRA, savings incentive match plan for employees, simple IRA, okay. And if you're not offering any kind of retirement plans at your practice, you know, it's actually a pretty lucrative thing to do in terms of a different channel. If you're doing that, maybe if you're partnering with you know, a finance pro, but a lot of these things with software these days, you can actually, you know, offer a lot of these things just as a bit of a tip there. Okay, 401k plan, solo 401k, okay, great for individuals, all right. So many folks have not heard of a solo 401k. It's such a great offering. Okay, so you as the accountant can actually get a lot of ideas as you're going through this as well. Okay, tax advantages of retirement plans. So tax deductible contributions, tax deferred growth, tax credits. Okay, so next chapter we will delve into the world of tax planning and compliance strategies. Okay, so let's go ahead and have it continue once again here. So we are on, let's see, let's move on to the final chapter. So remember, we told it to write 5 chapters, and it remembered that. Okay, sometimes ChatGPT has a bad it has a bad habit of forgetting things, right? So if we can be concise in our language, it does a lot better job with that, all right? And we were concise. We said create 5 chapters. So tax planning and compliance strategies, okay? So understanding tax planning, timing of income and expenses, taking advantage of deductions and credits, choosing the right business entity, okay? So look at this. As discussed in Chapter 3, the structure of your business can have significant tax implications. Make sure to choose the business entity that provides the most tax advantages for your situation. Okay, so remember that. We talked about that in Chapter 3. Understanding tax compliance. So keep good records, file and pay on time, get professional help. Okay, this concludes the ebook. I hope you found it informative and helpful. Let me know if you have any feedback or is there anything else you'd like to add. You know what? So it gave us a few things in the beginning, right? It says it was going to do a bunch of other things like proofreading and like images and all this stuff. So let's just say proceed, right? Let's just kind of keep on having it run through it, and hopefully it can remember some of the rest of the stuff here. Again, as it gets longer, it kind of forgets the stuff in the beginning, so you want to be mindful of that. What I could have done is maybe copied and pasted the outline. So if I scroll all the way back up to the top here, where it gave us that nice little outline in the very beginning. Let's see. So step 2, right? So I wrote the chapters. It did all that, right? So it's actually going to write the ebook, proofread and edit, design and formatting. Okay, so sometimes it would forget all that stuff if it gets really long. Okay, so it wrote this, so it should actually write the entire thing now and do the proofreading and edit. So what we could do, if it forgot, we can just kind of like copy it here and just tell it to continue. Let's take a look to see. We can click on this little down button, by the way, and it'll go to the end here. So okay, so here's a detailed plan for writing. Okay, so it just kind of continued, just kind of reminded itself. But this is it for the most part, right? We actually have 5 chapters. So what I would recommend is just to go ahead and literally copy and paste. So starting off with the first chapter, you can just go ahead and, so for example, if this was the first chapter, just literally copy this here, and you can just copy this whole thing here. Choose copy, and then go ahead and paste it into a Word document and do the same thing for each chapter. And that is a quick way to go ahead and produce the ebook. You can have maybe some sort of like introduction or overview, or maybe some information from your about page on your website to kind of start the intro off with the ebook. But this is really it in a nutshell. We've used just 2 free plugins using ChatGPT 4. I hope this was super helpful. There's lots of different things that you can do with this. If you have any questions or comments, drop me a comment below. But this is it in a nutshell. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I will see you on the next video.